Doodle-doo, and welcome back, everyone, to episode 10 of Nothing But Stuff. What a fine, beautiful morning we find ourselves on, with me in the host seat once more, retaking my place on top of the pyramid, but as always, I suppose... He is here. Yes, this is a pyramid scheme. Welcome to the pyramid scheme. We're just getting everyone lulled into a false sense of security before we start asking them for money, even though we've done that for the last few weeks with Patreon.
At the moment, is it a pyramid, or am I just, like, are you just standing on my shoulders? it's a ladder scheme.
It's a one line. But yes, I am Lewis. I am back, and as always, I am joined by let's call him this week my co-host.
Oh, finally, I've made it. I've made it, Mama. And I'm Isaac Harwood. Yeah, good times recently. Good times. Should we talk about my vasectomy? Should we talk about it? Should we post pictures on social media? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's what the people come for. So the
not you anymore. Ha ha!
Well, that's not how it works at all.
No, it isn't. But it's just fun to poke fun at your very tender groin.
My purple plum.
And obviously, this will be known as the vasectomy episode.
Vasectomy stuff. Come on down.
I'm hoping this is the first and last vasectomy stuff special that we do.
Special. Do a whole hour. So, let me begin at the beginning. I was born on a summer's day.
You were born in September.
Like everyone in the world, Lewis. Okay. So, recent stuff. Can I just say quickly, before we dive into it, I miss Gunter.
Gunter?
Yeah, he's gone.
Yes.
He's a good guy. Good guy to have around.
Definitely the third member of the podcast that we've been missing.
Yes. Maybe we'll get someone else on the books soon. When the money starts rolling in, which is around about now, because this is episode 10, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And episode 10 is Landmark. I think
huge. It's huge, as Mr. Trump would say. Huge,
Mister. It's Landmark for a reason. I think we might as well tell them because they're going to kind of figure it out in time anyway. So the 10th, we said when we started this fucking ages ago, we do 10 episodes before we
10 weeks ago. 10 weeks ago.
10 weeks ago. We'd get 10 recordings in the bag before we start releasing. We got busy lives. So busy, popular. It's fame. That's what happens. And
preempting the fame.
Yeah, preemptive fame. We just walk around, no cash, no one knows who we are, but we feel famous.
I've been acting like a famous prick now for the past 10 weeks just to, really make sure I'm ready for it.
10 weeks, and yeah, so we're going to release after this 10th recording once we've patched things up. And it's so we don't fall behind on weekly releases because we might skip a week and not be able to do a recording. Anyway.
I can't wait for 12 weeks' time when we're already behind.
I know. It's like it's not a good track record. But it'll do. It'll do. Anyway, I think that's worth mentioning. Before, stuffing some butts?
Ooh.
Is it a question? Is that our new catchphrase? Stuffing some butts?
Stuffing some butts? Question mark?
Stuffing some butts? Recent stuff. I'll go first. Why not?
Sure. The vasectomy. Tell us more.
So my recent stuff. Did a TV show. I don't think I've done a TV show before.
I've never seen you on a TV show, so yeah.
Well, not until the fame kicks in. This is what we've been talking about. Slow Horses. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it, Lewis. It sounds like...
Isaac, don't let the mystery fall. Isaac, what's Slow Horses? I've never heard of that.
As IMDb describes, this quick-witted spy drama follows a dysfunctional team of MI5 agents. Okay, so it sounds a little corny, but it's Gary Oldman is the star.
I think I saw that advertised.
Yeah. I don't want to, give too much away, but I also want to make it interesting. As it said, it's like the cast off spies in the MI5, the ones who've like disgraced themselves, but not so badly that they should fire them. So they get sent to a place called Slough House, which isn't actually Slough.
Right.
It's just West London. But I think the joke is it's so far away it might as well be Slough. So they're just like cast off to the side. But I mean, I think we have our favourite actors, don't we? And I mean, Gary Oldman's just a global sensational actor. And he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those actors which doesn't get the recognition that he deserves unless you go onto the internet and you go to like actors which deserve more recognition, and then it's like all Gary Oldman.
He's really recognised at really needing recognition.
Yeah, he's like one of those guys that's just like, why doesn't he have 4 Oscars? Because he's incredible in everything that he does. Commissioner Gordon is probably the biggest thing he's been in, like as in Batman as Commissioner Gordon.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty arguable, but in this, he's like the boss of the misfit spies, and he's like a horrible cunt, like horrible. Just like, same clothes every day, like there's like takeaway boxes everywhere, and he's constantly got a cigarette in his mouth. And he like makes people like pick through the garbage and stuff just to like punish them for being terrible MI5 agents. That is what it looks like in the first episode, but it unravels, and it's good twists and good reveals, and I don't want to talk about it more than that. Slow Horses, I think it's a BBC. No, it's on Apple TV. And I think the first one was 2022, so it's recent. I think
and you're obviously subscribed to Apple TV. You pay your subscription every month.
I pay subscriptions to so many services. So there are so many, so I like to pay all of them. So I think that wraps my. I mean, it's a good TV show. Go give it a go. It's fun and decent. Good old British spy drama. Anyway. What's yours, Lewis? What's recent with you? How are your balls?
My balls are full, plump, and the right hue. A beautiful bluish hue. I can feel it down in my plums. Oh, God. What is that? Eastbound and Down. Fucking love Eastbound and Down.
That's not your... Is that your recent stuff? You're just going to go on a tangent before you even begin.
Yeah, I just love Will Ferrell. Just the outtakes of him recording that scene, just going, I can feel it down in my plums. Go and watch Eastbound and Down, or search Eastbound and Down Will Ferrell plums, something like that. It's hilarious. But no, my recent stuff is I rewatched the wonderfully wacky film The Disaster Artist, based off the film which is made about the making of the film The Room with Tommy Wiseau.
Yes, I don't know if you explained that quite correctly, but yeah.
There's a film called The Room by a crazy bastard called Tommy Wiseau, and this is a film starring James Franco about him making that film.
And it's really good. I really
it's
like
so
it.
good.
Yeah.
It's like The Room is one of those. It's become a cult classic because it's so bad.
It's notorious as being the worst movie ever made, right?
It's really not. Like, I have genuinely watched worse, but it's one of those films. It's one of those films which is so bad that it's good. Like a few of the ones that we've watched, but like top tier, so bad that it's good.
I think my problem. I like a so bad that it's good movie that knows it's really bad, whereas the original The Room, like the actual The Room, not The Disaster Artist, is just bad because it's terrible, like the worst.
No, but that's the one. That's the sort which I do like. The ones which are trying to be sincere. Like he says now, "Oh yeah, I made a black comedy movie. It's so funny. It's so great. Come watch my comedy movie." But it was so obviously not written to be like that. He wanted to make a serious like drama. I mean,
but he was insane.
Yeah, he's genuinely mad. Like no one knows. He won't confirm what country. Yeah, he won't confirm what country that he came from, how he made his money, or any of this. He just wrote a movie. he wanted to be an actor, but he couldn't get any parts anywhere because he's fucking shit at being an actor.
He can barely talk.
So he just made his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His accent is like unplaceable. Like no one knows. And they kept asking for stuff. He'd buy like. Is it in the disaster? I can't remember if I've seen like a documentary or the Disaster Artist because it feels like a documentary.
You've probably seen the Disaster Artist.
But don't they buy like the best camera gear you can buy for like a movie? And he just
he buys film and digital cameras, and then like has to get a rig made to put them both on at the same time because they were just like, "Oh, are you going to film in this or this?" And he was like, "We're filming both."
He's insane. But everyone's. I remember they're always like, okay, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to get this thing because it costs so much, and then the money's just there. It's just like, he's an idiot, crazy man. How does he have millions of dollars?
There's a whole scene about it in the film because they're just like, oh, okay, so you'll rent this equipment, and he's like, no, I buy. So he buys like $3 million worth of cameras or something, and then they go to like cash the check at one point, and they're just like, this will bounce, and the guy's just like, yep, that's gone through, and Seth Rogen plays the character playing whoever this is meant to be in real life, and he's there just like, that actually went through, he actually has money, and he's just like, this account is like a bottomless pit. Like, he's a ridiculously wealthy but savage lunatic. Not savage, he's just an absolute crazy man.
Yeah,
but
no
it's just it's such a good, interesting film. And one of the best bits is like, as the credits are rolling, they have side by side of the original movie, and obviously with Tommy Wiseau, and then James Franco playing him, and he's perfect. Like, I know that guy's done some dodgy shit.
Yeah, he's dodgy as fuck, but I've always had a spot for his creations. If that makes sense.
Well, the stuff that him and Seth Rogen used to do together was just so funny.
Yeah, at the time.
Like Pineapple Express. No, Pineapple Express still holds up to this day. It's hilarious.
Yeah, great movie. There were some dodgy ones, but I thought The Disaster Artist was just going to be a cheap rip-off, but it was actually genuinely great.
You can tell that he had put in so much work into it, and obviously it stars his brother as well, Dave Franco.
I rate him as well. I like him.
It was really good. Just rewatched that recently. Really genuinely good film.
Yeah, and funny.
Recommend it.
Interesting.
Especially if you go and watch The Room first, which I think is still on like YouTube, and then watch The Disaster Artist. It's like you could just sit there just going, oh my god, like throughout the room you're just like, how did this happen? And then you're watching The Disaster Artist and you're going, oh, that's how it happened.
I remember trying to watch The Room and I got it, but I just didn't find it funny. Like, at the same time, like, I get why it's a phenomenon because it's so appalling, but I just didn't get on with it. Well, I feel caught up. Time to sign off. Recent stuff every week, that's all we're doing. We're cutting down the seggies, 15-minute podcast. Just hear what we've been doing and move on with your lives. What are Isaac and Lewis up to? Oh, that's nice. Carry on. They watched the film.
We're just gonna send this to our parents, just so they can
it's like a diary.
Quick little insight.
Lewis and Isaac are still friends. So cute. Let's do... Fight stuff was fun last week. What did we do? What was the fight stuff last week?
Oh god, I can't remember.
It was not a week
ago.
Did we
do fight stuff last week, or did we do a quiz?
You're right.
I think we did a quiz last week.
Well, we'll find out later, won't we, everyone? Stop shouting at the speaker. Okay, so last time I think we're going to dive straight into some quiz stuff. We're going to stuff this butt real good. So last time
to the brim.
We've both been kind of like hiding titles and trying to guess stuff to like figure out how it ends. This one,
guess stuff, new Seggy.
New Seggy. I'm just shitting Seggies right now.
That's our own private term as well. No one else can call segments Seggies.
No, that's TM.
I'll come after you. I'll get a lawyer.
That's how you make money.
Exactly.
It's just lawsuits.
Copyright. I'm copywriting it.
Side note, I just saw today that P. Diddy has to pay Sting $5,000 a day forever.
What, because of...
sampling every breath you take in the P. Diddy one.
Yeah.
$5,000 a day. Forever.
Yeah, but he probably makes, 10 times that much on interest.
It's just funny.
That's great for Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Anyway, so I'm going to go the opposite for this quiz. I'm just going to tell you the title, because it's going to be interesting as we go, I think.
Right. Okay.
So this is the whole title. It's a bit wordy. I didn't write it. These movies have some wild, behind-the-scenes facts. Can you remember them all? I'll tell you, I don't know I know maybe one or two, and then I stopped reading questions because they were genuine. There's
obviously going to be the Christian Bale losing his shit one, and I don't know about the rest.
Okay, well, let's find out together. Number one. I have no idea how many questions there are. What was used to spike... Well, if there's something I mention here, it's always going to be a movie. The Titanic cruise food... So the food,
I already know this.
The food that they gave to the crew that made the film Titanic that resulted in 80 people being hospitalised. Well, let me read the options.
Angel dust.
Yeah, fine. Don't let me read the options. But the options make it funny, Lewis. At least you got a mark. I was going to ask you the question. Yeah, PCP, laxatives, rat poisoning, and none of the above. PCP. Well done. It was sprinkled over the cast and crew's lobster chowder.
Yeah, and not everyone ate it, but apparently the old woman who throws her necklace in did, and she nearly died.
Hilarious.
I don't know why.
It doesn't say why. Why were they poisoned?
No, actually, no, I don't think she was poisoned. I don't know, someone apparently...
Maybe she did it.
Apparently, James Cameron on sets is an absolute monster.
So someone was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, literally, just he's horrible to the... And this is months of them filming in big fucking pools, with freezing cold water. And he's notorious for wanting take after take after take. Apparently, people were getting hypothermia and all this sort of shit, on his set. So, I mean, spike his, not everyone.
I was going to say, make sure he eats that fucking chowder. Otherwise, he's just a dick.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know how many questions there are, so let's go. Which background character made the most money when filming The Wizard of Oz? It doesn't have years, I imagine that's the original. The Munchkins, The Trees, Toto, or The Wicked Witch of the East? I barely remember the movie, but I know who...
I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
Anyway, okay, make a guess then. Which background
Toto.
Toto?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah!
The pup, I guess it's a dog, made $2,365. That's the most that anyone made on the movie.
You could buy a house and a car for that kind of money back then.
Background character, to be fair. Why would they pay the trees anything? I don't understand. I guess they're people. I haven't watched the movie for a while.
Are they?
Here you go, trees, to scatter coins into the forest. You made more money than everyone else.
Fuck that dog.
Number 3. So you're 2 for 2. After filming, which animated sequel was nearly 90% erased after it being completely done? Shrek 2, Cars 2, Frozen 2, or Toy Story 2?
Toy Story 2. Someone had it saved on their own home computer when they were working on it.
Someone accidentally hit the wrong button and the movie's files began to disappear. The creators also realised that their backup files weren't working at the time. 90%.
Yeah, one person apparently had taken home a copy to work on in their home office.
Whoops.
So,
is there a story that
Well, no, that's great that one person was stealing Disney's work. But
isn't there a story that the whole of the Two Towers movie, Lord of the Rings, was put onto a storage and someone had to run it across London or something? And it was the only copy of that movie, so it was everything in that guy's pocket for a certain amount of time, and it was apparently the most tense shit ever.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in his pocket.
In his pocket. Make a backup? There's probably some clause. Anyway, when filming the nightclub scene in John Wick, what was Keanu Reeves sick with? Food poisoning, 103-degree fever, bronchitis, or chickenpox?
I think it was the fever.
4? 4?
4 for 4, nice.
He had a 103-degree fever but powered through the scene regardless. Keanu Reeves, fucking saint.
I'm just a trivia master.
Well, the quiz can't lie. Who was originally supposed to be the voice of Shrek? Chris Farley.
Oh, is that? Yes, correct.
Let me read the things. Because it's funny if Nicolas Cage was doing it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, right? He'd recorded 85% of the character's dialogue before he tragically passed away. So it wasn't that he was supposed to. He did record it. He just didn't get there.
You know what's funny as well? Apparently Mike Myers recorded the whole thing in his normal voice and then was just like, I might do a Scottish pitch on this instead. And they had to like reanimate a bunch of, like, all of the mouth
to get it, yeah.
to like change it all to his new, because they did prefer it.
And at the time, CGI was not that easy.
No, and it was, they were like DreamWorks were making that and what's it called, like the Prince of Arabia, like another animated film but more like classic animation.
Sure.
And they were sending people to work on Shrek as a punishment. And it literally made DreamWorks Studio.
Yeah.
So
that's fake, baby.
I'm just so full of trivia today.
I know the answer to this one. It's not that interesting. Ed Helms' tooth was really missing when filming The Hangover. True or false?
I think he already had lost it and like had it replaced with dental work and then got it taken out for it or something.
All it says is Ed Helms has a tooth implant after an adult tooth didn't come in when he was 16 years old.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So 6 for 6.
I'm amazing.
Which award-winning actor had one of the worst auditions for Frodo Baggins in The Lord of the Rings?
Oh, I don't know this.
Okay.
This will be
These
fun.
are some good options. This is Frodo. Nicolas Cage again. Nicolas Cage in everything. Keanu Reeves again. Ryan Gosling. Haven't seen him for a long time. Or Jake Gyllenhaal. Personal favourite of mine, Jake Gyllenhaal. Fucking love that guy. Actually, that whole quartet, perhaps, is a fucking brilliant group. Imagine Nicolas Cage with those people.
Okay, so it's definitely got to be one of the last two.
Ryan Gosling or Jake Gyllenhaal?
I'm going with Gyllenhaal. I think it might be Gyllenhaal.
7 for 7?
Yeah!
After his audition, Peter Jackson reportedly told Jake that he was the worst actor that I've ever seen. Imagine if he was Fred. What was Samuel L. Jackson eating during his audition for Pulp Fiction? A hamburger, a taco, a slice of pizza, a burrito.
Okay, I mean, number one, I'm not surprised that he was eating. I have no clue on this one. The burger could make sense because that's the sort of thing Tarantino. Yeah, I know, that's what you can so imagine Tarantino being like that. I love the way that you did that with the burger. We're putting a burger in this film. Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to go with the burger.
After Quentin Tarantino was late to his second audition, Samuel went and got lunch, which he proceeded to bring with him as he read for the part. It was a burger.
I'm amazing.
Number 9.
100%.
I did not expect 8 for 8.
I'm amazing.
Shot in the dark, Wizard of Oz. Like
wait, Isaac.
You're amazing.
I'm amazing.
Yeah, I fucking heard.
There we go.
What movie set was blessed by a priest every day before filming? Every time before filming, sorry. You're probably going to guess it when you hear them, but it could be one of these two. The Exorcist is the obvious top contender. The Amityville Horror, Poltergeist, or The Conjuring?
Blessed by
a priest every time before filming.
It's got to be The Exorcist or The Conjuring, I would imagine.
I'd go Exorcist or Poltergeist, but that's just me. I feel like Conjuring's quite new, and that's a bit weird to do. It makes more sense.
I'm just gonna go with the classic Exorcist because they were weird back then.
This quiz isn't that hard, is what I'm going to conclude. Lewis, 9 for 9. The priest was asked to bless the set after it burned down and delayed production by 6 weeks. Kind of fair, I guess. Maybe. If you're crazy.
I'm just not that into horror films as well. I think I've definitely seen The Exorcist, and then I think we watched it years ago, The Exorcist of Emily Rose or something.
Yeah, that's a grim one, really grim one. I mean, not like any of them are sunshine and rainbows, but that one's nasty.
I think I saw Martyrs, and I was like, I'm done with these kind of films.
No more horror.
No, done. Thank you.
I think these questions are a bit leading. And finally, I guess this is the last question. Can you get 10 for 10? I think you will with this bullshit question. In the 2002 film Spider-Man, so in your ballpark,
Love it.
The cafeteria scene where Tobey Maguire catches the tray does not contain any CGI. True or false?
True. It took like 146 takes or something.
Let's see if you've got... Oh, you were fucking close. 156 takes. So one...
Oh, come on!
That's pretty close. That's impressive. So, I love the endings because they're always written like really genuinely and awesome. Film nerd! You love all things movie, both on and off the screen. This should be like your Tinder profile. You're always curious to know how a film is made from beginning to end. Knowing these BTS facts is one of your party tricks.
Well, it's quite funny you should say that as well, because my Tinder profile doesn't have my last name on it, so my wife doesn't find out.
Perfect. Also, BTS you say all the time. No, that means behind the scenes. Just so you can like drop it into conversation. It's like a conversation piece. What's BTS, Lewis? Oh, well.
Well, didn't you know that I got 100% on a recent trivia test?
You got 100% on a BuzzFeed quiz? Okay, buddy.
Oh god, it's not BuzzFeed, is it?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's just tarnished my victory.
It was a pretty rubbish. It was some interesting. I didn't know most of those, but the actual question's not so great. Yeah.
I'm amazing.
Well done, Lewis. I'll get some like little triumph music for the release.
Well, that's not very triumphant.
Exactly. Speaking of triumphs, a triumph of cinema with movie stuff.
Oh god, what a transition into the latest Seggy.
Alright, the next Seggy. My film I recommended. I say recommended.
Oh,
recommended is the wrong word. My film that I opted.
Yes.
Which was recommended to me. I hadn't seen it. Is called Delhi Belly, 2011. Guess where it's set? In Delhi. And I was quite surprised from the bat that it was in English. I messaged my friend and I was like,
about 70% in English.
Did they record it like twice? Did they do it again in English? And apparently, no, it's the other way around. And I think this is an important point to what we're going to talk about. Is it was English first, got successful, and then they did a Hindi dub. So it went the other way.
Okay.
Which I was a bit like, what? Which I think is going to feed into... Obviously, we talk about the film a little bit outside of this. We try to keep most of it contained, but there's a general feeling that we talk about on text. And I think I know Lewis's feeling. And I think you audience members, you lovely people, are going to be really surprised about Lewis's disposition to my film choices. Go on, Lewis.
This is fucking boring. Like,
boring.
This is the way that I would describe this film is okay. So let's just preface this first with a little background, because this was made by an Indian. The guy who wrote this script is an Indian guy who studied film in America and then went back to India to get the backing and make it. Right?
Okay.
It feels so inauthentically non-Indian. It feels like an American has made this and just picked India as the place to make it, for one.
Okay.
And I can't legitimately say what is really Indian and what isn't. I've only been in India for 3 weeks of my entire nearly 32
and have
years.
Never watched a Bollywood movie ever. But
no, but I was hoping for a real fun Bollywood movie.
I think,
and this wasn't it.
Okay. We'll get into some of the bits and stuff in a minute, but let's just talk about our general overall feelings. Let's talk about our feelings, Lewis.
This film is the Indian version of Snatch, the British film / American Pie.
Yeah, it's
this is a mashup, which is somehow worse than the sum of those parts.
I think you're being over harsh. I think this does come back to my point. While I was saying it was filmed in English first. It's like an Indian movie that they've made for Western audience is what it feels like. But it's like
boring.
I think boring is harsh. It's a teenager. We probably would have found it funny 20 years ago. And it's just immature humor. And sometimes that's
like
okay.
literally 20 though when we were 12.
Look, I loved Scary Movie when I was 12 or 13. That's the most ridiculous, immature shit ever. And I thought this had
that's what I'm saying.
I think it has some redeeming qualities. Okay, so, I mean, we can, again, say the word preface this. The whole movie is based around, it's called Deli Belly, which is just synonymous with diarrhea. And that is like the main mechanism of this story. It revolves around a guy eating some chicken off the street, which someone just rubbed their crotch and then handed. He didn't rub the chicken on his crotch, but he rubs his crotch and then picks up the chicken and gives it to the guy, and the guy gobbles it down and gets diarrhea. And that is the problem with, like, that causes all the problems in the movie, essentially. Just to kind of we do have to give some of the movie in here. You don't look so defeated, Lewis.
Well, no, I just want to get on to one of my first notes
Let's go
here.
on then.
I wish I was a disco fighter. Because it's like a poster and like a background bit and like what should be the really like Bollywood bit of the movie is there's like a scene later on where one of the characters imagines himself as a disco fighter, but I was just left feeling hollow inside.
It's a joke.
Like I had.
It's a
joke. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke.
You're so cynical these days. My first note was security checking the most nervous looking guy in the world. It's like an airport, and he's doing like a diamond handoff to some chick who's like the replacement for the normal courier of the diamonds. I must have written her name down somewhere, but she wasn't like the best character, so I'm not that bothered. And he's just like sweating, looking around. He's like not even Indian, so already stands out. And they're just like patting him down and doing all the like security stuff. And it's like, I would cavity search that guy. He ain't getting through security. And then to the next kind of, that's like the like little setup bit, because he hands off the diamonds to the chick, and then you find out eventually she's like the girlfriend of the main guy, but. To set the tone, similar to, I'm going to compare it to a movie like The King, where they set the tone at the beginning. The King is moaning corpses on a battlefield, and one of them being finished off with brutal, cold-blooded, I guess, mercy. Whereas this starts with a zoom-in close-up of a butt crack. So, you know, it's the same ballpark of filmmaking.
My next note here is how many shots of this guy's crack do we need? Because there's like 10 in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, because he's about to shit himself a lot. So it's like, look, this is going to happen. Put your goggles on.
Well, yeah, it's the three main guys in this, you know, share like an open plan, horrible looking flat.
It's called Squalor.
Yes, no, I get that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. That's probably the most authentic part of the film.
Mm-hmm.
But my next line on
this isn't rehearsed, I swear.
My next note here is how did this fucking loser get the nice lady? And obviously we see later their parents are like friends, so it's obviously like an arranged thing. But she genuinely likes him. And I don't understand why, because he's just some loser.
Is it arranged? I'm not sure they ever like actually say it is. I don't think we should assume.
I thought that was the implication.
I don't think we should assume that it was arranged, but but I see what you're saying. Like, why would they be together otherwise? They don't give any reason for that.
They never give a reason why, because she likes him throughout the whole film. They're engaged. They're meant to be getting married. All this sort of stuff. And I never, ever got anything in the film as to why she likes him.
And she's hot. Like, she's all right.
She's hot.
Yeah, she's nice. Yeah. So, yeah, 3 guys in absolute squalor. Like, they have to, like, you know, ration their water and stuff. Pretty grim. So Tashi's the main guy. And there's another one. I think Nitin is the cameraman, and Manaka is the... not the cameraman, the pervy cameraman. And Manaka is like the special correspondent, other love interest, and Arup, the digital designer. By
pervy cameraman, do you mean genuine like sexual criminal?
Yes,
because
that one. Yeah.
Yes, the one who tries to blackmail people, including his landlord.
Is that sexual criminal? I mean, it's criminal.
Recording people without their consent having sex.
But he's not doing any sex. Anyway.
No, but that's still a sex crime.
I don't think it is.
It is.
Recorded someone doing anything. Is he tossing himself off? I wouldn't be surprised if they put that in the movie, but they didn't. Actually, they did. It was kind of toned down a little bit.
What restraints they've shown?
That's actually my next note. Is the swearing is like way over the top. Like it's that kind of like a kid that is new to swearing, so it's like fuck, and it's like.
Well, I actually looked into the background and the making of this film because a lot of actors turned down working in this because it was too sexual and too rude.
Yeah,
and
raunchy.
I know it's a very different culture in India, and so you had a lot of big name actors. Because I mean, a big Western. Effectively, this is a Western film.
Yeah, it is.
Being made in India.
Feels like it, at least.
It was made for the Western audience, we should say. So, you would have thought it was going to have a big draw from a lot of Bollywood actors trying to break into, the Western markets and things like that. But so many people were down because they didn't want to ruin their reputation. And I can sort of, I sort of respect them for that.
I feel like, yeah.
This film's shit anyway.
We don't know how it was received in India. I think it was quite a big deal, actually.
Apparently a slow start, but it built.
Yeah.
That's what I've read.
It's just silly fun. I don't mind silly fun. You say it was boring. My next note, are they just eating a banana on a plate with a knife and fork? Like, I didn't know if it was like some kind
weird
of Indian delicacy pudding traditional thing, but it didn't look like it had any kind of chef work into it. It looked like just a banana laid on a plate. It's fine. Nothing wrong with eating a banana, but with a knife and fork? That's quite weird.
So,
yeah.
Well, the next note I have, this is generally, as you can tell, I said, this film is on a knife edge of being okay or horseshit. You can see which way I landed. But then my following note is when they meet, he's like interviewing that actress lady who has her song at the end, and she starts singing her song, and my next note here is just me and this lady need to record an album together, because when we get like the blooper reel out of my singing, like me and her, we were a match made in heaven. And then I've just gone into my next note straight away, which is casual rapist joke. Just throw that in there.
Yeah, I got that. That was spit out there.
Yeah, because it's kind of like going for that tone of like, we're cheeky teenage, like fun sort of level of film, and then just casual rapist joke.
Which is kind of not funny, usually.
Yeah.
So, following on from the eating banana on a plate, when they're at the fancy girlfriend, fiance's parents' family place, they're like, we've got a present for you. And the music and the camera angle and his facial expression, he's like, oh, great, when he sees it. It's like a brand new car. It's not a nice car, no, but it's brand fucking new. And he's handing it to you, and you live in a dungeon. Why are you so ungrateful for this car?
Yeah,
sell it.
But that's the point. Like, that's one of my problems with this film. Is the main character has literally no likable qualities. Like, he doesn't seem to be trying very hard. Like, he likes his job and he tries at it, but we'll get onto the big thing, which kind of happens later on, which makes me think he's an absolute arsehole. But he has very few redeeming qualities. But I made another point here, which I think is a genuine insight, Isaac. Okay. I think this is a genuine insight. This feels like a Western version of an Indian film because they are using regular toilets and not squat toilets, which, as we know from when we went there, there's a lot more squat toilets.
I think is a little off the mark. I think
I don't know.
There's probably lots of toilets.
I know, but that just, I don't know, it just like made it feel a little less authentic.
And your eyebrows comment, and the other one with the no bra scene, you're picking up on some weird, tiny little thing, which is like, you're the only one that saw that.
Yeah, but now everyone's going to be like,
they'll be like, it's just a toilet.
Oh
like,
my god!
not savages.
Yeah, but no. I'm not saying
I know.
this is India. They all shit in buckets. No, I'm not being like that. I'm just saying the actual method of toilet is much rarer out there.
I remember being happy, elated, when we got to the beach in Goa and there was a toilet. So I do know what you mean. The toilet was there for us as tourists.
Yes. But, even though, in theory, the other ones are cleaner, but never mind.
Yeah, no, and better for you in like posture and bowel movement. But that's a different topic.
Yeah, but it's not what I'm comfortable with.
It's not comfortable in general, and it's messy.
I mean, I don't want to spend 20 minutes just crunched down like that.
My knees, I'd just be like knee deep in piss.
But my next line is the funniest moment. I say line. My next comment, my next note is the funniest. Genuinely the best line of this entire film. It's after the sexual criminal who records his landlord having sex with a prostitute. He brings back all the pictures, and they're going, and he shows his roommates, and they're looking through it, and one of them makes a comment because at one point she's giving the guy a blowjob, and the line that comes out is the funniest bit of the entire film, and one of them just sarcastically says to the other one, "Oh, I thought she was sucking his dick because she's really outgoing."
Because like, is she a whore or something like that? And it's like, no, she just loves it.
She's just really outgoing. Oh god!
And then, crotch chicken, make it spicy, is what he says. And boy, does that guy make it spicy. Yeah, lots of running around. So this is the moment where the package with the diamonds in, has been handed from the girlfriend to Tashi, the main character, who then pawns it off on his buddy, who then pawns it off on the next one.
They don't realise it's diamonds.
Yeah, they think it's something. What do they think it is?
They just think it's a delivery. She's just like, I need you to take this somewhere. I just need to make this delivery.
That's it, yeah. They don't know it's diamonds belonging to a gangster, if we can call him that. Do gangsters wear flip-flops or sandals, I guess? This guy does. I mean, it's hot. Fair enough.
This guy looks like he should be in the Indian version of what's the name? Westlife or something like that, like a classic 90s boy band. And he's grown up too old.
So yeah, the diamonds have been moved around. Fat guy's got the diamonds and gets the shits, drives home, runs out. They didn't have any water. They didn't put the buckets out to collect the water, so he has to use orange juice as a bidet. So he has a very sticky asshole, which he brings the attention to later. And then we cut to the gangster, the 90s boy band sandaled gangster, who's about to... He makes a point about being meticulous about putting out like a little viewing felt, or no, what would you call it? Suede.
Little cloth to look at his diamonds.
And then he pours out what he thinks are diamonds, and like I could almost smell it when he pours it. Oh, I've missed a fucking point. The guy needs the doctor. Sorry,
there's a classic mix-up.
Very disjointed. Rewind. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this into a flashback. This is how it's supposed to happen. Yeah, he pours out what he thinks is going to be diamonds, and just runny shit just pours out onto the cloth. Like it's
poo, guys.
It's just a pool of poo, and it looks fucking horrible. It's funny. But the funny bit is, I mean, it's dramatic irony, if you could call it dramatic. Is the guy's got the shits, has to do a stool sample for the doctor, and they switcheroo the packages. So he's like, I've got the shits, take this package to the doctor, like the girl said. And the other guy in the house is like, sure, and drops them off at the wrong places. And then my next note is, let's review Disco Fighter.
I was about to say, my next note is, can we change our music to Disco Fighter?
So good. I don't think we've reached that yet. It's just on a poster again. It does come back. Just want to quickly go into the next one. They're at a party later. It's like a fantasy journalist party. There's just a blatant homophobic woman there at the bar, just like spreading rumors that someone like these women are gay. like as if it were like
this woman is gay.
No, but it's like several. She like does it to one, and the person's like, "Oh, I don't think so." And then when that one woman walks away, she's like, "I think that one's gay," as if it's like to degrade their status. And it's like, well, fuck you then, bitch.
well, I think the general notion is that, perhaps as in some cultures, both over here and in India, that would be very much looked down upon.
I just mean it's not for the modern audience. If you're making a film for the West, bad idea.
Yeah, we love lesbians over here. I can't get enough of them. Yeah. I've seen them in beautiful movies.
Do you have another note? I don't think I need to go through all of these, to be honest.
So he started working with this woman who's another reporter, Tashi, the main guy. And then at the party, like, this guy, like, basically starts having a go at her. It turns out it's her ex-husband. And so, like, the main guy, like, cracks a flower pot over his head and they run off. And then they're just driving away. And then this guy basically chases after them in a car and starts shooting at them. To give the background to my next Jesus Christ. My next note, which is, they seem super calm for people being shot at.
Super calm, and the guy's, like, screaming at them, like, I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you! The amount of times he has his gun, like, aimed directly at them and doesn't just shoot.
From, like, 2 feet away.
Yeah, it's like, fucking kill them then, talking about it. Get on with it. Yeah, so that was dumb. I like the bit when the girlfriend calls Tashi. You need to use names, Lewis.
I just said Tashi.
He said the main guy.
The main guy, Tashi.
Girlfriend calls him, so he picks up the phone, and it's like, I'm at work. And she's like all fucking catty about it. Like, why'd you pick up the phone then? He's like, I'm broke and I need work. Like, get the fuck off my back. Anyway, I was just like outraged at her outrage. Anyway, I just wanted to dwell on there for a bit. Did I just do a Lewis? Was that just an eyebrows thing? That was an eyebrows thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And we missed the classic joke earlier on in the film, where before he just goes to that party to meet up with his colleague, he's performing some cunnilingus on his he's licking a pussy on his girlfriend, and then he's under the covers. Obviously, we can't see him. And she's having a real good time, but then you just hear a phone ring and you just see an arm dart out from under the covers, and then he just answers it while he's down there, and she gets really mad at him, and I was just like, yeah, fair enough, finish the job that you're on.
Oh, I think that's what my note was supposed to be. But he needs the work, Lewis. He's a serious journalist, and someone might be calling about work.
No, that's fair enough, but I mean, finish the job that you're working on.
Yeah, just hurry up. Come on. Exactly.
So this was the point in the film where it swayed, and I just decided that I didn't like it because I've got the disco fighter scene has swayed it for me. This film is trash. It took 49 minutes, but I've decided.
Well, I guess
comprehensively can tell. 49 minutes into this film, I was done.
You are just not fun to watch movies with these days. Don't like anything.
We didn't watch it together.
I know.
No, it's just. I was really hoping
for some Bollywood craziness.
Like, I don't know, I just had really high expectations for this one, and I was just really sort of gutted. It felt like, I don't know, it didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel like, as I said, it feels like a teenage version of Snatch mixed with American Pie.
So,
like,
it
didn't feel original.
I think my opinion on this is, I think I know why it was recommended by my colleagues, actually,
right.
There's 2 of them. I think they didn't want to, like, perpetuate the stereotype of, like, the crazy fucking stupid Bollywood stuff. But after I watched the movie, I came back and I was like, I watched the movie you recommended. Next time, give me a crazy fucking Bollywood one. Like, it's just more fun to talk about. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, Liz, I'm feeling a little deflated to carry on. It's okay. I feel you. I felt like I could have stopped early and I wouldn't have missed out on much. There were some good bits. I thought they did an okay job with, I mean, it wasn't subtle, but foreshadowing. Like, they did some good bits, like, oh, there's this thing going on here. It seems random now, but later it's going to be like, useful kind of thing. A little bit of that kind of Fargo vibe where things just kind of fall into place, but in the right way, as opposed to like the wrong way in Fargo. So I respected that a little bit.
Okay, I mean, I don't berate anyone that's making a living. I don't berate the actors being in this. I don't berate the people that tried to make it, but it just feels... Lots of it felt very cliche for me. Well, I literally have a note here saying too many poo jokes.
There's a lot.
That's coming up in a couple.
Deli Belly.
But there's parts in it where it feels like they've genuinely stolen music or the license-free versions of Snatch's soundtrack. So that there's literally one song, like in Snatch's time, and this one is like ba 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 ba.
Yeah, but it's the same as Ocean's 11. It's just the style. It's supposed to feel like that. It's supposed to make you think it's a heist.
Yeah, it is, but like the music choice, there's one point where it was literally like just as close to the original music in Snatch as they could get away with without getting sued. And then I have a note. Jesus, man. I have a note here saying, why did the moron take the diamonds? There's no way that works out well. And then, because they basically the gangsters come in, because they find out where the diamonds are, whether these guys have got it, and they threaten them, and then, awful plot device, the ceiling caves in and it knocks out all of the goo.
Is that an awful plot device? They have some upstairs neighbours who practice traditional dancing and they're always jumping up and down and making loads of noise, and then it comes back.
It is when it just happens at that it is when it happens at that precise moment.
Well, that's like Fargo.
It doesn't but it doesn't hurt any of the good guys. But then he takes the diamonds, and then immediately the scene afterwards, he's like, "Why did I take the diamonds?" And the rest of the film is about them trying to basically get the diamonds back to them without getting themselves or anyone they love hurt. And it's just even in that moment, even as you're running out, just if you saw your mate picking up the diamonds, you'd be like, "No, leave them. I want to live.
Yeah, no, that was dumb.
Live, please."
I've got 3 things that I wanted to pick out. Because they amused me, actually, Lewis. I like to bring positivity to the podcast, unlike you, grouchy Groucho.
I do in my other seggies.
So they like you said, they take the diamonds, but then they have to give them back because they essentially kidnap the pretty girlfriend. So they have to go back and save her life. I probably would have taken the 8 million, but there you go. I
don't know. She's pretty hot.
So they're going. Okay, so the gangsters, who there's the main guy with the sandals, and there's his henchmen. They've just had a ceiling collapse on them, and they're kind of fucked up for various reasons. So they're going to go and meet Tashi in this hotel.
With the Russian guy from the start, who they just keep beating up 4 times throughout the film.
They put a firecracker up his ass and expect him to remember a phone number. I was like, no one would remember a phone number ever in that situation. No, it's not good.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. It's about to be a lot more. So the ceiling's fallen down on your guys. You're going to go and do this handoff for the diamonds where you're threatening the life of this woman. Why did you bring the guy who has both of his arms broken in a cast? It's what's he gonna do? It just stands there looking like a lemon. It's very funny. And then there's a big shootout. All these guns go off. Obviously, everyone important survives. There's this old.
Everyone else dies in the room as well. There's 10 to 12 people in that room. The only ones that survive are the 3 main guys and the girl. And all the the good policemen die, and all the bad guys die, and it's just okay.
Yeah. It's gratuitous.
It's
gratuitous, a bit like the swearing. But there's a bit earlier, we don't need to mention, but basically there's an old English couple in the hotel that get ousted from the room by the main guy and his Tashi and his new woman, Manaka. And then
why? Another big point in this film, he cheats on his really, really, really nice, she's a really nice person, she's very attractive, and he's marrying her, and he just ditches her? But there's no reason why. They never give us a reason why.
Did you see the car, Lewis? I mean, come on. The car.
Oh, yeah. She's also got a generous family that give him cars.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, can I please finish my fucking point so we can move the fuck on?
Yeah, let's be done with this.
The old English couple in the hotel, there's the shootout, bullets just like coming through the walls, and it just cuts to them like cowering in their room with their walls like exploding with bullets. And I think the woman's just like, can we just go to fucking Disneyland? That's pretty funny. And then my last one, the safety standards of an entire family on one scooter never change, India. Because we saw that a lot. Like, that's, yeah.
Oh, no,
it's everything. It's all the goats, it's all the bricks and stuff for construction, or your entire, like, 6-person family on a little scooter with a speedometer or a mileometer that's gone broken. It's done so many miles.
Yeah, I don't want to put down India here as a country.
Of course not.
India is equally the most terrifying and wonderful place that I've ever been. 3 of the best weeks of my life.
I was going to say
incredible,
top treasured memory in India.
Yeah, 3 weeks living on a beach down there. And, go to the Blue Corner. There's a shout out for you. Blue Corner down in the South Goa beaches. Fucking amazing. You'll have a great time. Go live in a hut and drink Old Monk rum. But
it was a long time ago, Lewis. It could have been swept away.
That'd be fine. So my last note for this film is, so at the end of this film, right, the police have seen them. They have been caught on camera robbing we kind of glazed over it, but they basically sell the diamonds to a jewelry store and then steal them back. So they've been caught on camera doing this, and they still have most of the cash at the end. Why are they not worried about the police hunting them down? Like, at the end of the film, just like... No, but not all of the police force in
that's what I'm saying.
Or Delhi.
Cops are dead. That's when the police fucking mobilise. Like, they would be man hunting them.
Well, Isaac, we have to give this our rating, and you'll be unsurprised that I have rated this Floppy. This is for 14-year-olds, not either bad enough to be good or good enough to be good.
I wish I could refute this point, but I agree. Floppy.
Yeah.
Sorry, my Indian colleagues, that if they're listening, I really hope you're not at this point. I think one of you probably will be. You tried. I'll give you another shot, person who knows I'm talking about.
Well, the problem is this feels neither Western nor Indian. It feels like a bad mix of the two. I want to see like a Bollywood fun movie,
crazy shit. It doesn't have to be like really bad.
It doesn't have to be crazy. I just want to find a fun, good Indian-made movie which feels like authentic.
Yeah.
Like, this feels diluted.
Yeah, I agree. But you see my point about what my friends were doing. Of they didn't want it to be this stereotype carried forward. Like, here's actually. Well, if they liked it, the opinions are up to themselves. To be fair, one of them would have been super young when this came out, and it probably was awesome at the time.
Now, if I told someone to go and watch Anchorman right now who'd never seen it, they'd be like, "This is so stupid."
Yeah,
but I grew up with it. I have nostalgia for it, but I just don't have any nostalgia for this.
It doesn't.
It's
doesn't
just
hit
not.
The mark.
Didn't resonate with me, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, I would prefer to watch it in Hindi, at least. At least. Maybe not.
And I didn't have subtitles, so all the stuff in Hindi, I just had to guess
at. And he told me that, and was like, okay, and then he said, you watch it and tell me if I'm, like, wrong. And you're right, like, all the stuff he says in Hindi, I did have the subtitles. It's like, you get it from his, like, shoulder and hand gestures. Like, he's a bad guy. He says, kill that guy. Like, that's kind of all he did. Anyway, I'm going to go for a pee and get some water. And then, what are we going to do?
Oh, my God. Welcome to the latest Seggy. The Loud Time with Lewis. No, what we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, people back home, is we're going to tell you secrets about Isaac's life, which he probably wouldn't prefer to be out in the world. So obviously we know that he's just had the lead taken from his pencil, one might say. But what you might also like to know is that he's balding, and that's only getting worse. I mean, year after year, the hairline goes further back. I'm going grey, but I think we'd all agree it's better to go grey than lose it. What else? Isaac is also afraid of bugs. He hates them. There was a fun little time when we were actually in India, and we stayed somewhere, and in the middle of the night, all these cockroaches came out into the place that we were staying. Not the cool place, which I mentioned down in Goa, somewhere else. Not the Blue
We
Corner.
immediately bailed back to there after that night.
Yeah, and I had to go around with a flip-flop in the middle of the night killing cockroaches. Yes, environmentalists out there. Yes, Peter. I can hear you, Peter. Petites? Peters? Peters. Members of Peter.
One of my favourite Peter ridiculousness stories is that they got all up in a huff about Warhammer, Space Marines, and there's a faction called Space Wolves. They hated that they wore wolf cloaks. These are plastic miniatures. They're wearing wolf cloaks. You've got to stop this.
I'm all for
real?
animal conservation and everything, but fuck Peter, what a bunch
crazy.
of knobs.
Yeah, let's
of pricks.
let's at them in our next release. Hey, you gotta listen to this one.
Fuck you, Peter. I'm just gonna record myself stomping on a cockroach and just post it onto their Twitter.
I think I've seen a cockroach outside of a zoo since India, to be honest. I saw an enormous rat the other day. Anyway, let's carry on.
Okay.
We're going into a classic, a cornerstone of nothing but stuff.
A Ridge Segi.
Over to RPG stuff.
Ooh.
And it's my turn in the spotlight where I belong.
I just was waiting for someone to back you up on that, and no one did, which is a real shame. So I guess we'll just have to roll with it, but not happy. So this week we will be focusing on Isaac's fantasy-based character, Gary the Warlock.
Gary the middle-aged warlock, it's important.
Gary the middle-aged warlock. He seems to have some patron wars, as it were, going on. Who's his patron now? He met an older, weirder version of himself. Who goes like this? Hello. Is that Susan? Something like that. I don't have the whole plot to hand.
There is no plot.
Forgive me.
We wing this.
No, of the last episode.
Yeah.
The last episode. But this time, funnily enough, most of the episodes always seem to start with being in some new wonderful place or whatever, and you open your eyes to find yourself. Well, this week, Gary, you open your eyes to find yourself tied down.
Lying down.
What's going on there? Tied down.
Okay. Oh.
Tied down.
This could go
maybe
a certain direction.
You seem to be attached to a large cross. Not crucifix style, I mean like an X.
Yeah.
Let's not go there, for God's sake. And your wrists and your ankles attached to this. You seem to be lying on a big X-shaped board, which is maybe lying back a little bit, maybe like a 70-odd degree angle.
I think we've all seen them, yeah.
Stark naked. Naked as the day you were born.
Ooh.
And you sort of come to, and looking around, there's lots of candles. There's you can just sort of see out the corner of your eye like a table, but you can't quite see what's on it. And as you sort of start, looking around a little frantic, trying to figure out what's going on, you hear a sort of a light purring noise.
Okay.
From behind you.
So to add to the visual, I'm splayed out on this cross. My body, as I said before, middle-aged, a little sag, lost a little perk, but it's covered in demonic tattoos, just everywhere. Most of them aren't ink at all, just like scar tissue, and some of them maybe even still seeping, but just like amongst them is just like a pin-up gnome, like drawn really, really over the top pin-up style. It stands out. Bit of a regret of Gary's, maybe an old love, an old flame. Who knows? And I hear the point. How do I feel? Am I groggy? Can I like medicine check myself? Kind of. Have I been poisoned? What's going on? How did I get here?
Okay, yeah, you can sort of try and see how well you can percept what's happened to you with a roll. You can roll on
I
that.
don't have my trace. It's going to be nice and loud. But then at least everyone knows it's authentic. That's a 5. That's a fail.
Okay, so you sort of try and look around, see what you can remember. Nothing much is coming to mind, but the purring is getting louder from behind you and getting closer.
I think Gary just thinks, muttering to himself maybe, oh god, I've really got to stop sniffing succubus tails. Oh, really fucks me up. Oh, it's been a while since I've been... Wait. I listen to the purring. Can I see it? What is it?
So, as the noise feels like it's getting louder, what you realise is it's really getting really loud. And
okay.
It's getting even louder, like to the point where you realise it's not purring.
Lewis, does it get louder?
It gets...
It keeps getting louder. I've got that. Okay, it's not purring. It's in my head.
No, you hear a door open behind you, at which point it's a like really, really loud noise. You don't know what it is. You've never heard something like this before.
Like a modern day chainsaw noise for my kind of for the listeners kind of
for a flavour, yes, not quite as loud.
Okay.
Not quite as loud.
The door's open. Where's Petey? I try and reach out into my my nethers, we'll call it. That's where I go for magic, to the nethers. Mm-hmm. And can you tell that vasectomy's on my mind? And try and call on Petey Chimschwimper to see if I have any connection.
Sure. You call on Petey, and he does appear on another X, sort of to your right-hand side. And as he appears, he's there in one as well. But his one seems to have some sort of magical nature to the arm and the ankle restraints on him. And he just looks over at you and goes, "Ah!" And then it just disappears again.
Oh, he disappears again. Ah. Oh, Petey! Come back here, you... I try and pull him with my will again. You piece of shit! Imp, motherfucker!
He comes back and just looks at you again and goes, "No!" And then disappears again. Like, every time he pops into that room, he seems to be forced into that position, onto that board.
God, no luck again. I will flex and bust out of there.
You can try.
I'm going to flex and bust out of there with magic. Did you see that coming?
Oh my god! Whoa!
Some of the scar tissue on my body starts to kind of starts to singe, starts to kind of like. I
so hope this fails.
Starts glowing along my chest, kind of around the pin-up gnome on my left breast. And I'm just like powering up. You can see the veins in my muscles, my forehead going. A couple of hairs fall out just because what happens. I use so much power. And I'm going to flex and bust out of here, Liz.
You're going to flex and bust out?
May I roll?
You may roll.
Well, I saw the 1 first, and I was like, "That's not a great start."
Not good.
But a 6 on the other, so a 7. That's a mixed success.
Mixed success.
I do it, but something bad happens.
So. You manage to...
Cling, 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 as I pop the brackets.
No, don't you dare. That's my job. Thank you very much.
I get out of it, though.
You don't pop your wrists and your ankles out. You break the board. So, your wrists and arms now have these large pieces of wood attached.
Nice.
And you swivel your head around looking for what was coming at you. And effectively, what the noise was that you've heard, you turn around and you see sort of a large, sort of hybrid between sort of man, a bear, and a pig. No, fuck it, let's go for it.
Yeah, that pig. Perfect.
And
okay.
But he's holding some sort of, I believe they're called a censer.
The thing you swing down the aisle in a church.
Yeah, sort of thing like that.
With the smoke coming out.
But it's more like Oh God, is it called a maul, where you have like a long chain on the end of a stick with like the mace ball at the end of it? Is that called a maul?
That's just a mace with a chain. It's
No,
a mace.
no, a mace is the fixed one on the end. I believe a maul is the hanging
A maul
one.
in D&D is the big two-handed hammer.
Okay, well, people know what I mean. You know, where you have
Yes.
the long stick with the chain, and then it's like that, and it's like this furiously shaking orb on the end of it, covered in spikes, with like fire dripping out of it. All of this, and the creature, the man bear. Let's call it a pig bear man for copyright reasons.
Yeah, South Park care about copyright.
Yeah. It just takes a massive step towards you and swings it at you, going straight for your face. What do you
Okay, but I'm super strong at the moment because I've cast some unnamed spell. Swings it at me. Can I see any of my gear around?
No.
No. Can I ascertain, am I underground? Is there a window? Is there one door in? That's it.
There's filthy walls all around you. There's the one door in, which has like a little hatch window, which is currently closed. He came into the room and shut the door behind him.
Is the purring from him or the glowing hammer?
It's
mace.
From the big... what was purring is now like it's almost like an angry buzzing, like beehive sort of sound, but louder.
Okay.
And that is coming from the sensor. Not sensor, as in sensor with a C.
Okay.
Sensor. Not sensor.
I'm going to cast a spell and not... Okay, I want to do this. How do I do this without telling you, but you need to know? I'm going to cast a spell that I'm not going to tell you exactly what it does. I'm going to roll and see what the number is. And I will say what I think you should do to my guy. It's going to work. Okay.
Trying to DM your own game here.
A little bit. I just think it would be good drama. Another 7. Okay, so it works, but not the way I want it to. You may describe this... I'm just going to call it Man Bear Pig. I can't turn that around. I'm too tired.
Pig Bear Man.
Describe how he kills Gary.
Okay. Well, he's just swung. Maybe Gary lifts up an arm to try and block it with the wood, which is still attached to him. Maybe cursing P.T. Chimswimper. But yeah, the sensor just comes along and just sort of pushes the whole head and neck down into the torso, just like half pushing it down, half just obliterating it and sending chunks of brains and skull across the room.
Wow, you did it. That's it. The end of Gary.
Thanks, everyone. That's the end of that Segi. We'll see you next week. Bye!
I'm just trying to quickly look up the name of the spell. I know what it does in D&D, but I can't remember what it's actually called. Okay, yeah, it's called. It's a spell called Mislead from D&D. So what I did when I cast the spell, it worked, but not quite how I wanted it to in the outcome, is I made myself invisible at the same time as leaving behind like a copy of me, an illusory copy. So I've kind of stepped back. So he's just crushed this copy and I've just got all like mangled up on the floor. I let out wailing screams. I make it... The pageantry is just off the charts with this death. I'm going way overboard. I'm probably still moaning on the floor, like still blundered up, and I'm just like, whoa, whoa! And that's when the Man Bear Pig realizes that he's been duped. I don't know how much intelligence he has in his eyes, but he knows he's been duped. As I am like, I'm not sure if I'm grinning, I'm just kind of like done with this whole thing. I feel like I'm playing Gary as kind of jaded warlock, like he's seen all this shit before.
So I like how we've got two scenarios here. Both, like, we've got the jaded guy who can't be arsed, and we've got the coward in mind who doesn't do anything bold or brave.
So like the camera like sees me kind of just like behind the pig as I my eyes just go completely black and my fist and up to my wrist just goes like jet black as I go to punch this pig. I feel like What do you think the not working is? This was my plan. Cast a spell, go behind, ambush, punch. What doesn't work, Lewis? I'll hand back the DM reins that I stole briefly.
Okay, so as you sort of step back from the ethereal form, which you're leaving behind,
Wait, no.
you do that.
The illusion, not ethereal. Let's not get confused.
Yes, the illusory form. Then,
yeah.
You do that, but you're just not quite quick enough. So as the sensor sort of comes down, it sort of clips the front of your face, sort of, dealing a massive bit of pain to you. And you take a bad hit on there, and it sort of as it like catches down the front of your face, which sort of throws you off a little bit. You manage to keep the spell up, you manage to do everything else, but you've taken a bad hit, and it sort of stuns you for a moment. So when you actually go to attack,
the ambush,
the ambush has not worked out quite as well. So if you want to ambush and attack, roll for it.
Okay. Sure. So what's not good? Okay. I went invisible, but I got hit at the same time. That's the downside. Another 7.
Okay, so, yes, so that was another mixed success, as you say. So, as you swing to go and hit the beast, the pig bear man. Okay, so it sort of it does take the hit because you were successful, but this time it has managed to actually get hold of you, and it sort of grabbed you not around the neck, but sort of around that shoulder neck area around there, and it's got a firm grip on you with one hand, as it's then sort of swinging the sensor around again, and you have a brief moment to try and either avoid or stop it from hitting you. You cannot, I'm going to say, you can't really take many more hits of this. You've been clipped. If it gets a solid connection, you're going to be in some real trouble.
Okay. I'm beefed up. I've got my black fist and my black eyes. I feel like I should use that somehow. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, Asmodeus, just give me a little bit more than the fist this time! Oh, I guess I could spend a few. Yeah, I know.
Give me more than the fist, please.
I just need more fist! I will. I guess I could use just a few of them. And some of these, like, circular scars down my arm just kind of rotate like a kind of... like an aperture on a camera, and these like glowing green souls start to flow out of my body as I spend them for more power, and my entire body turns this black. And when it's all black, all the scars are on fire. They're just kind of like cinders on my skin. As I beef myself up I'm going to nut him. I'm going to headbutt him. As best I can. He's got both my hands, and I'm just all black, and I'm like, super pow, boom! So here comes another 7, probably. Give me some. It's legit another 7. Legit. I've rolled a 1 and a 6, 2 3s and a 4s, and a 2 and a 5. Fuck's sake.
Okay, well that is enough, obviously, to miss being hit by the sensor. It is a success. You managed to distract him enough. So you do manage to headbutt him. This also dazes you, though, but you've got him right between the eyes, and sort of broken his nose, and the blood falling down from it. And he does release his grip. But in doing so, as he falls back, he sort of kicks out, and you're taking another sort of what would be the equivalent of another glancing blow. You can't really take another hit.
So we've both been like pushed back.
You pushed him more back. He's sort of fallen down back.
We've parted.
Yes.
I feel like I was like rail, like my head's all spinning and stuff, and I kind of look up and I look up at him, And he's looking back at me, and I try and remember. I say, coconuts!
Coconuts?
Coconuts! That's the safe word! That's the safe word! I remember now! What does the guy do?
Wow. Oh, God. I feel like I want to roll for this.
Yes, and, Lewis.
Yes, and what, though?
I don't know.
Yes?
I'm testing you.
It's a really pretty dice I just found in my deck.
You can make your own roll. We don't have any actual rules.
No, I know. So I just did roll. If you want to make a decision,
leave it to the dice.
That's my... Yeah, so I did just roll. And so he just goes, "Oh, sorry, Gary, did I take that a little far, mate?"
My face is like... I mean, I know I could just heal it, but... And PT? Did he ask for that?
PT? This is all PT's idea.
Oh my god, of course it was, of course. Do you know how many souls I just released? I must have just been in a stupor. What drugs did you give me this time?
No, nothing. PT just showed me how to, he said that you'd had that little surgery, and that if I tickled you in this little spot, it would do the thing. You know
sorry.
What it's like.
I'm sorry. We're good friends. I know that. Maybe a little more than that. But my imp familiar is going around giving away my weaknesses. I mean, this is an HR issue if I've ever heard one.
Well, it's not so much a weakness, more of a soft spot.
I mean, I've got a soft spot for you. But I mean... Troy, we need to find a better location for this. It's just, I need something more familiar, I think, if we're going to be going this hard. Listen...
What are you talking about? This is your son's bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go in here. Have you heard the screams at night? Being in here when the sun's down... Oh my god, I think he's coming home soon. We should clear the fuck out, Troy.
Well, you're the one who broke his bed.
Well, I mean, that was fun. Look, let's clean up, wipe ourselves down, and I'll see you next week.
You're not going to at least help me finish off?
Fine, but not in here. Fade to black.
Oh, God, it's terrifying.
Do you like it when it doesn't go how you thought it would?
Well, that's why I roll the dice, because sometimes it's just like...
That's why I write one sentence, and the rest is just, we'll see.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the fun of improv, but, I mean, good lord.
That was good.
I wasn't expecting that to turn into, no, I arranged this, what we do.
I think coconuts is going to be like a running theme, because you were transporting coconuts with Leslie. Coconuts is I feel like it's gonna take off. # coconuts.
When shit gets weird, because there's coconuts involved.
There's always coconuts around.
Oh dear.
Well, that was nice. Lewis, we're drawing to a close. You always interrupt me when I go through this checklist, so I'm giving you... I say always, you did it once.
Yeah.
And I want to call attention to it every time. So just go, a little sign off. Like, subscribe, review, please, wherever you get this podcast. I am begging, let's be honest.
Begging you.
Yeah, Lewis's music career is yet to take off.
Put your loving likes out, baby.
Fantastic. Like, subscribe, review. Don't include that last bit in the review, please. Email it, please.
Yes, please review our dungeon sex scene that we just made together. Me riffing on a popular song about 15 years ago.
Email us at nothingbutstuff@gmail.com. 2 T's in the butt. We have a Patreon if you're feeling generous to us. I mean, we're already famous. We don't really need it, but we'll take anything you've got.
Help me buy a good mic.
Patreon.com /nothingbutstuff. A new bit to add to this little checklist. A little late in the game. We're going to go back and add a little bit on to the other ones just so they're aware for the first 9 episodes. But we do have Instagram and Twitter. Handle is at NB Stuff Podcast. That's NB Stuff Podcast. Turns out there's another NBS, and those guys can get fucked.
There's also an Instagram channel, because I just searched for what might else be out there when you search Nothing But Stuff. One of them was like a dead channel. The other one was just ladies' butts. So, I mean, if you don't like us, you'll probably like them. That's how it is.
It's good to be in that category.
That's going to be the only channel that we follow. With our
the only. But
just
please,
butts.
just chat to us. We will be responding as much as we can.
Oh, here's a fun thing. I believe last week was when we had... No, last week, was that the one where we had Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger versus Harrison Ford.
Okay, so the results are in, everyone.
Indiana Jones.
The results are in, and the winner was either option A or option B. Insert here. And God, wow, Isaac, can you be amazing?
I didn't expect to make use of Jeffrey Epstein's bedsheet again. That was my
in the making of this episode.
Yeah, we'll have that poll in 10 weeks or whatever. The main point: Instagram, Twitter at NB Stuff Podcast. Lewis, do you have our next movie?
I do, Isaac. And you remember a few weeks ago I picked a film that had a fantastic actor in it. Well, there's another film.
What, Steven Seagal?
No. I didn't say the GOAT. I didn't say the greatest actor of all time, who's also the greatest martial artist of all time. No, this is a much smaller, not nearly as accomplished actor who starred in a little Shakespearean sort of film.
Is it Charlemagne again?
It may be Timothy Chalamet. And what other great films has he done that we both enjoyed? Without Googling it, I can see you Googling.
I'm literally Googling it right now. Dune.
Oh, Isaac, you're so close. What we're actually going to watch is the 1984 version of Dune, the terrible one that everyone hates.
Okay, I'm game.
Yeah, I've not seen it. It looks hilarious, but in a real bad kind of way. So
1984 Dune.
The recent one is fucking terrific.
Loved it.
So
it's got Patrick Stewart in.
I mean,
the new one, the old one. Sorry, we had bad segue there.
Yeah. So fuck it. I thought, why don't we watch that? Because I've heard it's awful, and it was. You know, when they make a film, it's not, the technology is not there yet.
Have you seen who directed it and wrote it?
Is it Uwe Boll?
It's David Lynch. So
David Lynch.
He's done like the most cerebral, fucked up movies ever.
Yeah,
Twin Peaks and Razorhead. Yeah, that's probably why no one fucking liked it.
Yeah.
David Lynch, he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
A good weirdo for some of those, but I haven't seen it either. Next up, we'll watch The Elephant Man from 1980. No, we won't.
No, we won't.
Yeah, June 1984. Okay, yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, just thought... Because I literally originally had Dune on this list, and then I thought, nah, that's too good.
I think our place to rest. Well, The King went really well, to be fair.
but then again, like, I could pretty much just sum up the whole film Dune with two words: sad and sandy. So I want to see what it's like when it's done by someone who just like balls to the wall, just going mad for
crazy
it.
Shit. Okay.
Plus, we've already seen a really good version of it, so what would a really bad version of it be like?
Yeah, no, that'll be fun. Cool. All right, so let's get out of here with one last piece, one last seggy.
Cheeky seggy.
Stupid stuff. My kid had a full-on foot-kicking, hand-slamming, screaming, tears rolling down
Wasn't this
the
when
sheets.
you decided to get a vasectomy?
There it is again, one last time. Stupid stuff my kid cried about. We wouldn't let her lick the gravy out of her bowl like a dog at the dinner table. That's enough for this, but it has been stuffed sufficiently. Alright, wonderful. Goodbye.
Make sure everything is working.